Alrighty, let's make this Chel cosplay all the way from scratch, right? Here's a little drawing to help you like compartmentalize all what's going on. So here's a little drawing of Chel and what she's wearing with the little skirt, right? So essentially the bandeau top is like a rectangle, right? And it's got like two little rectangles there on the inside, which should be the pink piece of cloth and the little red piece of cloth inside there. We're going to call that rectangle 1, right? And then we have that little belt section that's holding the whole skirt up, and that's a rectangle. All right, we're going to call this one rect 2, right? And maybe put like a little button there at the bottom to hold it up. And then we have the front piece of cloth, right? Which is also, surprise, a rectangle, right? With another rectangle in front of there. We're going to call that rect 3. And then we have the back piece of cloth. Going to call that rect 4, which is the exact same thing as rect 3. Just like modify the size based off of how much coverage you want. Get yourself a white or like a beigeish piece of cloth. For the dollies that don't know how to sew, I strongly suggest you learn how to sew, right? So I've got some wood glue or white glue, whatever you call it, no pieces of EVA foam, right? Got this from P&A. I think it's like $5 or 7, like 5 to 7 randish there, roundabouts. Okay, can confirm it is 5 rands for the A4 sheet of EVA foam. It's like super thin though. And last but not least, what we're gonna have is a craft knife to just like cut everything, and preferably a cutting mat so that you don't cut like your actual furniture. So I decided I'm just going to gauge the general size and shape of the bracelet based off of this roller sellotape that I've got. Alright, so I took little pieces of EVA foam and sectioned them around the piece of sellotape like that. And then you basically just like glue it together till it becomes something like a sturdy bracelet. Until in the end it just looks like a little log like this. And I'm just going to put that off to the side to dry. Now on to rect 1. You're obviously going to measure this based off of your measurements, but there is something like a rectangle that's going to wrap around me, and then after I cut it to size, it looks a little something like this. I've just like pinned it with little pins there, stabbing me actually, and then I've sewn it together. Ta-da! There we have our little rectangle, and then now we have rect 2. We're just going to cut off another piece of cloth and then turn it into this belt rectangle structure thing. Wrap it around yourself, make sure that it fits, make sure that it makes sense. And then I just pinned the middle and the side so that I know I'm going to put the skirt as well. The like front and back parts, as well as how it's going to hold itself up on my body. So then there's me visualizing rect 3. And then because Chel's belt kind of has that weird foldy part, I decided to incorporate that as well by just adding another piece of cloth on top of this one, but then making it shorter than the one that's, you know, at the bottom, so that I get that folded cloth effect without it changing as like I like take photos and stuff. Because if I just fold it, then it's just going to look inconsistent over time. So there's everything after I've sewn it together. So then there we have rect 2 kind of complete, just without the buttons. And then here are all the mini rectangles that are going to be like painted pink, and the dark red one that's just like a little strip. It's going to be put over there on the bandeau top. Now what am I going to go buy more fabric? Of course not. I'm just going to paint what I've already got. So there you've got red paint and pink paint. Paint the cloth there, call it a day. Paint the cloth, call it a day. And there's the little skirt rectangles as well. Alright, so the bracelet is dry, but I don't really like how it looks, so I decided I'm just going to have like a layer of clay around it. But I'm not a clayist, so like in my head, I'm going to sand it down afterwards so that it's neat. So like don't judge that, but actually judge it, because like sanding it down did nothing. And then here is the vision coming to life. There's the top with the little painted on pieces that you can't tell were painted on. There's the skirt. I'm just going to cut the bottom of that skirt there, add the pink parts, then add more yellow underneath the pink, just like Chel's skirt. The vision is clear now, but essentially there is what it looks like, with all the rectangles just sectioned out there, sewn together, but they're still kind of apart. So there's clearly rect 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then now just put the skirt part together. Ta-da! There you go. So yeah, that's how it looks on the inside as well, because it's an open skirt so you can see the inside, so don't neglect that. There are the buttons that I've added. Don't judge my handiwork here. I was chasing a deadline. Needed to get this video in for a collab, so is it the neatest thing? According to the cameras, yes, but actually no. So is the buttons that I added to the bandeau to help the top just like stay upon me the whole time. So there we go, Chel of El Dorado. Yeah.